So we'll stand Madara for this. So okay, so this is okay. Let's go back to this. You were saying that it sounded like I was like desperately coming up for reasons or excuses for Madara to like kill people and say that's okay. Why did you say that? Is it because I was like stuttering, or
Because of
because I
whatever you
listed
said.
multiple
Whatever you said.
reasons, or because
I
you
don't
just didn't
remember what the
agree with
thing
the
was.
reason
You're
in
usually
particular?
really goofy, you know. It's like this is like your third class at straws.
Okay, so it's a particular reason, a specific one that you said it. It's not because I was like coming across in a tone or because I was like saying it frantically or anything. It's because of one specific reason rather than like listing multiple reasons.
One or two, whatever. It was just like the ones you said where I was just like thinking like, bro, like come on. These
Okay.
are not like legit.
That's
That's
fine.
how it felt.
That's
I
fine.
don't remember what they were.
Okay. Did you, because I texted you after the fact, did you read my The Walking Dead comment?
No, because
That's
or
okay.
actually I think I
That's
read it, but I
perfect.
don't remember it because I was like right before I went to sleep.
Okay, I'm going to scroll back up to it. It's gonna be like right here. Yeah. Okay. Uh, okay, first of all, you got bogged down in the wrong thing. I was presenting a concept, and then I listed the Attack on Titan Mikasa Eren thing as one example, and you were using the example to disavow the concept as a whole, when that was just one
No, I'm
singular
just saying
example, not talking on the
all I
concept.
said. No. You're overstating. I just said I don't think those are perfectly analogous because of these differences. The one that
Okay.
I mentioned.
I mean, well, that would shut down the
Like I
example if you think
understand
so. I don't
the
think that touches
comparison
on the
in that
concept.
you're making, but I don't think they're perfectly analogous.
Well, they wouldn't be perfectly analogous, but for the sake of the specificity of what I was getting to, I think it
But there was
perfectly
still
would.
like a big enough difference that I thought was
Well,
worth
yeah, but
pointing
those
out.
broad differences were outside of the bounds of what I was getting at, anyways. But again, we don't have to get bogged down by that. Okay, so I'm just gonna text you or I'm gonna say out loud what I texted you. And again, this is gonna come across a little bit more hostile, heated, but just treat it as funniness anyway, so that we can stay the rational, cool, calm, chillness that we got going on right now, for the most part. Okay, so I say, also, I only listed the Mikasa example, but you already know there are countless scenes in media of someone killing another person that they don't want to. As if that's the only one.
Wasn't there I'm surprised you didn't use, but like wasn't that one episode of Demon Slayer you showed me? Didn't that do that, for example? Or something close to that?
Well, I mean, you could argue that's what was happening. I would not use that as the example, but I can
I
see
really
where you're
remember.
coming from at the very least. I know you haven't seen The Walking Dead, but about the season 2 finale would be a very strong indicator of that without spoilers. Rick does something to someone, of which so ends up with a very similar situation to where he has to kill them without having to want to. But anyways, that's just one more example. Again, there's countless. So I don't want to specify every example ever. There's one more. Anyways, besides that,
The
that
Walking
was,
Dead is the most common go-to for example.
it's got some pretty good examples, like I said. Yeah, okay. So also on the Madara killing people thing, I have multiple points here. So I'm just gonna say that right now. The main character from The Walking Dead has a line where he says to like his group, his people, the people that he survived with, like his family, that he loves, that are bad and experienced at fighting at this point of the story. So Rick says to them, and this I quote this. It's not the literally exact quote, but it was like this exact same idea. So the exact quote is, "How many of you do I have to kill to save your lives?" And that was like
I'm
really,
assuming they
really.
were like
Yeah, go ahead.
um I'm assuming it's like one of those things to where those people were like doing bad things that he has to kill them to stop them in order to save them kind of
No,
thing.
no,
I
no.
don't know
So
if the
again, this is
context is
like
like
his
like
group. This is his family at this point. but this is at a part of the story where they're like inexperienced, so they're doing like a lot of mistakes. Which, just for context, I will
But
give
no,
you
that's what I meant.
specifics. Go ahead.
No, that's what I meant. I just don't know the specifics to really
Okay, when you
say
said
any
bad
more than
stuff, I
that.
thought you meant like looting and pillaging and just like unethical things. So it's more like they have like
Ye-
a group. They have like
They're having like
walls.
mistakes. Like they're
Yeah,
being
so
bad at
they have like
surviving.
shifts to like manage the gates and stuff, and they were just bad at managing that. They weren't taking their survival as seriously as dire as they needed to survive in this new cruel
Yeah,
world.
that's what
And one of the zombies got inside, and Rick had to kill that zombie, which that zombie likely would have just killed other people. Because at this point, this is the season finale, by the way. So a couple people have already died due to their own hubris, mistakes, whatever. Um, so he's saying this out of almost frustration because he does love every family member here and he doesn't want them to die, obviously. So I think it can be like that for Madara.
it can be. Yes, I just don't think it was. There's just nothing indicating that that's how he felt about it.
So I'm not saying that like he loves every individual, but the fact that he loves humanity, he loves the group, quote unquote, in this case. Just like Rick, he doesn't want the group to die as a whole, but he doesn't want any individual member of the group to die, more so the more members that die.
But I feel like, I mean, I don't know. I won't say for certain, but I feel like Rick cares about the members individually, not just the group as a whole.
Okay, that's fair. Um, so
Feels like that would be the case anyway.
yeah, it was like a whole 2 minute speech. In fact, I'll just play the clip where he specifically where he says it at 2:50. So I'll go to like 2:46. Just to play like 5 seconds of audio just for those to hear it. I'll even share my. But can you hear it, by the way?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And I will, for those that want to watch it, I'm gonna link it to you. You can watch the from the beginning of the clip to 2:50 if you want, but he says the line at 1:56. But again, the context is the whole 2 minutes leading up to it. But anyways, I'll play it from 150, 153 onwards.
I was thinking, how many of you do I have to kill to save your lives?
So there you go. So technically, he does say "I was thinking," implying he's no longer thinking. He's changed his mind based on it. The point is that he was thinking it was at the previous points in time, but he's saying it now out loud to them publicly here. Anyways,
I
but you
was
get the point.
imagining like I was imagining like him like angry like just how many of you do I have to kill to save your lives?
Yeah,
That's
no, that's
the
exactly
way you
how I
said that.
quoted it because I feel like that just is the better way to quote it. Yeah, how many of you
I
do I have to
agree. That's how I
kill to
imagined it.
keep you alive?
Yeah.
Because you can imagine it's a frustration. They're essentially idiots who are just running to their own deaths, and Rick hates that because he wants them to survive. So it's like he loves them, but he hates this aspect of them. And I think the same would apply for
Yeah.
Madara. He loves humanity's humanity, but he hates humanity's cruelty, which is what he's trying to rid, essentially. At the very least, that.
It's almost like rather than rid it of its cruelty, he's just trying to save them from its cruelty in the sense that in their dream it doesn't really matter
Yeah, that's fair. The
because they'll
point
just go
is,
however they want.
regardless if
But yeah,
Madara loves them or doesn't love them or feels bad about killing them or anything like that, I think it can be both. Either way, it's clear he's frustrated with the fact that they're victims of the world from their own ignorance.
sure.
Okay. So that's one thing. A different thing here on the same kind of idea is that, if anything, the more overwhelming power Madara displays, whether it's through big jutsu or more reasonably to keep the kill count lower, his invincibility or tenacity or endless chakra or stamina, the more demoted and deincentivize the enemy is to keep fighting or getting in his way. In fact, that's what Obito does.
See, but here's the difference, though. So, whereas I agree with what you're saying as the concept, it's just not presented as though that's what Madara is trying to do. Whereas with Obito, clearly, like, says and does that. Like, that's the difference.
Now, I will
Madara's over
say,
here looking all hunky-dory, battling, like, laughing, loving the battle, whereas Obito's over here, like, like, why do you keep fighting, all this stuff.
yes, I agree. That is a difference. I will say, I think the decentivation is, if not 100%, like at least 90% in the display of the power, not the speech afterwards.
My point is that it doesn't seem like Madara is doing it for that reason. Even if that technically will be a byproduct, it doesn't seem like that's the like Madara is doing it for that reason by any.
I do want to add, yeah, and this isn't me saying that all of these are true. It's just presenting multiple possibilities. They could all be true, or some of multiple of them could be true, or just one of them could be true. But I think at least one of them would be true. Anyways, I do want to add, since you did say the like laughing thing, technically that would be a communication which would decentivize them. He's not only killing us, he's laughing as he does it. I can't stop this guy. The laughing would just decentivize them further.
Whereas, yes, that is a decentivization. That's not why he's laughing.
It could be part of the reason.
It's not, bro.
Okay.
Okay, by that logic, I'm gonna argue Hidan's laughing so he doesn't have to kill people anymore. But you're not gonna agree, honestly.
Yeah. Okay, the next message I wrote here is, and he can't just demonstrate it, then back down, because that won't work. These are battle-hardened shinobi who are convicted to die on the battlefield. And so how are you going to convince someone to not kill themselves who's already convinced to throw yourselves at the enemy as cannon fodder? That's like almost impossible to do. I feel like it's almost paradoxical. This is the best way to do it. This is the way to get to the lowest kill count. Assuming that he is doing this at the very least. I'm sure you would agree. Rather than if he's like pussyfooting one foot in, one foot out.
That's going to boil down to. It's just, yeah, that would be true. I just don't think that's what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, they're practically just ignorantly throwing themselves at Madara, knowing already in advance that they're gonna die. And this is, ironically, again,
what else are they gonna do?
Part of their ignorance. It is the tool mindset. The corrupt shinobi world system that Madara himself is actively trying to change, and they're throwing themselves at Madara, not only making Madara more frustrated, if you don't want to say from the fact that he's having to kill them, from the fact that they're doing this at all, and also, similarly, at the same time, validating his path. So at the very least, he's going to care, whether he cares about them or the fact that they are doing this to show the cruelty of the world. Either way, he's going to care, regardless about what you think it's about.
Well, I have a compromise that you might be open-minded to, since I set this timer. Let me, real quick. So, my compromise. I don't think those particular shinobi were doing it because of the tool mindset. I think they were doing it like as humans for humanity, not because they're tools, just because like the next generation stuff. Like Harrison didn't die as a tool; he died as a human for the next generation. Blah blah blah. Okay, I think the shinobi in that case were doing it in that way, but Madara may have very well interpreted it as the shinobi tool mindset, further validating his path. And actually, that would be the best thing they could do narratively, probably. I think that would be really good to have them, like the shinobi, have their mindset on what they're doing. Madara, who obviously doesn't know them individually, which works well with my opinion, but it just works well anyway. He doesn't know them individually. He doesn't really know what transpired leading up to this war and all that jazz. He could just be interpreting as like, there they go again, shinobi treating each other as tools, dying for nothing, blah blah blah. I feel like that'd be good. So it just, they each have a different thought on what's happening.
Okay, so
that's my compromise.
Whereas I appreciate your compromise and encourage you into attempting to make compromises, I do have a compromise which shuts down the compromise. So a compromise to not compromise. So it's the fact that in Naruto, there is a sheep problem. Unlike Attack on Titan Season 1, which we just watched.
Okay, you want to segue to that? Okay.
So, be honest with me. In the Naruto universe, from Kishimoto's limitations of writing in the war arc, he's running on fumes, he's rushing it, whatever. Do the individuals, have they stopped to think about the Infinite Tsukiyomi and why they individually don't want it? Or are they only doing it because this is called the Fourth Great Shinobi World War, of which Gaara and the division leaders told them to do it because he's the bad guy?
I think they might know, like, that Madara's Obito is trying to do the Infinite Tsukiyomi, but ignoring that, the main point is, I think they're not actually thinking, would I want that? I think they're just thinking, bad guy's trying to force me into a genjutsu? Hell nah. I ain't doing that. Let's go fight him. Like, that's just, they're not thinking now. Yeah. Because, again, this does tie into the blind sheep problem, because I can address this from many perspectives. It's not just the war arc or whatever. No, it's literally in basically, so obviously, there will be some, I'm going to over extremify it. There will be times where there's 2 people or maybe 3 out of 100. The point is, it's basically all against 1 at all times. Mm-hmm. The whole village hates Naruto. Oh, sorry, except Iruka, the one exception. The entire Uchiha is just on board, except for, oh no, Itachi and Shizui, the only 2 exceptions. And you can just do this down the line with, like, basically everything. It's always just like all but 1 or 1 plus another exception. It's always like that.